here, I'm sure there's millions and billions of people. So I wanted to start today, if you could please join me in the Lord's Prayer. So let's bow our heads. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever. Amen. Long ago, forgotten prayer, right? I was thinking about this because at that time, 2,000 years ago, when Jesus had his ordained mission, he was proclaiming at that time the kingdom of heaven coming on the earth. He knew in his heart that he was living, he came to this earth to bring about that transition from a very tumultuous time period, especially Jerusalem, Israel was occupied by the Romans, and there was a lot of political strife, there was a lot of conflict. So he was teaching, please forgive us our trespasses, for as we forgive those, because I'm sure that they were oppressed, they were, it wasn't an easy life, and he came to bring a message of peace. He came to bring a message of forgiveness. He gave not to, an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth, but a message of peace and forgiveness. And it was totally revolutionary. So I'm sure many of the people who heard Jesus' message were attracted to him because of his amazing love, the power of the love that he had. But did they really understand what time of history they were living in? I don't think so. Did they really understand that this was the time of an incredible transition from the satanic world to God's heavenly kingdom on the earth? I don't think so. So I wanted to preface that. And then, okay, so this is a message that was given in 2006 by both True Father and then True Mother took this message to the entire world in a 40, nation tour. And Mother and Father both proclaim, if you want to read, distinguished peace ambassadors and leaders from all fields of life. You are now living in the most blessed and exalted time in history. The age after the coming of heaven has arrived. I proclaim the beginning of the new heaven and new earth, long-awaited day and yearned for by billions of your ancestors in the spirit world and who have come and gone in history. This is the era of the kingdom of the peaceful ideal world. The four great religious founders and billions of good ancestors have come down to earth to guide you on the heavenly path. The age when the fallen and corrupt world wreaks havoc on humanity, allowing evil people to live better than others, is passing away. So again, this message was given in 2006. Our True Father and Mother have already established the four-position foundation with incredible, giving birth to 14 incredible children and grandchildren. This is in 2006. It's an amazing era that is being proclaimed by our true parents to world leaders all over the world. We are attracted and we love our true parents because of everything that we've gone through and experienced in our own lives of transition. But does the world around us really understand that this is the age that we're living in today? No. It's an incredible time, similarly compared to the time of Jesus Christ, when there's incredible political conflict and confusion in everyone's lives, misunderstanding that there is no clear leadership or guidance. How can we create this peaceful world? It is really a great mystery in a lot of people's minds. But our true parents proclaimed this in 2006 and continue that message of amazing peace. So now for the topic of today's message that I want to get to. Let's see. This is going to work. you? And I ask myself, who am I? And attaining a deeper sense of gratitude. So then, number 2, because this is not working for some reason. Oops. So I'll tell you who you are and who I am. According to the very first sentence in the divine principle, everyone, without exception, is struggling to attain happiness and avoid misfortune. So we all are experiencing, every single person, no matter how much money you have, no matter how much you might feel content in the life that you've carved out for yourself or for your family. We see amazing people with palaces and castles and amazing cars, but everyone, from the lowest of the low to the most prominent leaders in the world, everyone, without exception, is struggling to attain happiness and avoid misfortune. So not only are we dealing with this internal conflict of who we are as individuals, but we're living in a world full of chaos and full of confusion. So it almost seems like there is no hope many times. We feel like, especially now, where the difficulties in today's society are so prevalent, we're wondering, like, what is the solution to all this? However, when we reflect on True Parents' message, or even on the message of Jesus Christ, the solution is already here. The solution is already here. Next one. So, in Divine Principle, it clearly teaches us, I've been doing this Divine Principle condition from reading the 1 hour and now the 3 hour and into the 12 hour. I heard Gail, also many people. And it's profound that, I'm in this movement for 50 years, and I've studied the Divine Principle many times over, read it, but the reawakening from the spirit world is so profound. We are living according to the Divine Principle, which was written, more than 50 years ago, the merit of the age. This is the lifetime that we are living in right now. We have inherited, as was spoken in Mother and Father's words, the benefit of billions of ancestors, saints and sages who came before us. For whatever reason, we were born at this time in history when our true parents are here on the earth. We've inherited that. Our parents' generation, no, they didn't. They did, maybe some of them were alive, but they certainly didn't have the foundation to inherit the Divine Principle or the truth of our true parents. Grandparents, no. But us, we were born somehow, and especially second gen, you've inherited such an amazing foundation to be able to stand on that of billions of your good ancestors in the spirit world who are here waiting to see how this path is going to unfold. So the principles of being alive at this time in history, this is taken from Predestination, the chapter of Predestination, that we need to believe and practice the word. So this is also unfolding that conflict within us, because sometimes we can read the words and they're going in our head conceptually or intellectually, but how deeply do we actually believe in them? And even on top of that, practice it. That's where our challenge comes into every single day. We have an earthly body, we have a physical self, so, and how precious is that? How precious it is that we have a physical body, that we can be alive at this time, that we can listen to the eyes of our heart, as we've been hearing recently, and see and feel and understand from the internal perspective. And of course, all of us, that painful growing period. Okay. So we are the chosen people, also, again from the Divine Principle. It's right there in black and white. Did you know that you were a chosen person?
Oh, yes.
Yes, you are a chosen person. You were chosen by God. And when I reflect on that, I'm like, wow, kind of significant. Because you think of the chosen people as the people in Israel at the time of Jesus Christ. They were such a special and chosen race of people. But however, because of the continued failures through history, we happen to be living at the time, in America at this time, the nation that has been chosen by God to usher in this new era. We have, and sometimes we can't believe it ourselves, an ancestral line with good accomplishments. Yeah, we have to deal with all these nasty individuals that somehow try to get us off track, but there would be no reason for you to be here unless there was ancestral merit. You have a requisite character. I think about that one. I come from a family of 6 kids. I'm a middle, number 3 out of 6. And my siblings are all well-educated, smart, successful people. And when I first heard the divine principle, I was like, this isn't for me, this is for my, I thought it was my younger brother because he was a reborn Christian. And I thought, he's got to hear this, I'm not the one, not me. He's the one who should be hearing this. And I dragged him. I was in Atlanta, Georgia at the time. I went back home to Chicago, and I insisted. I said, if you're a Christian and you're concerned about my spiritual life, you have to hear this. So he came, with his Bible under his arm, and he sat and he heard 1 or 2 of the lectures, and he said, no, and he went back home. He flew back home. So then I'm like, well then, I guess I'm sticking around. So, that was the choice that I made for whatever reason. And I'm telling you, I was not the easiest kid. My ditching school, cutting classes. I was actually asked to leave my high school because I was such a troublemaker. But that was something that I think God saw within my character that okay, maybe somebody like this can do what I need. So, and I'm sure if you reflect on your own lives, there's something within your character, some stick-to-itiveness, some stubborn nature, or some loving nature that God found within you to have this requisite character to be here today. Necessary qualities, maybe, good nature, or stubborn nature, or patient nature, kind nature, whatever that is, something that you have as a qualification, and to be in the right time and the right place. How many of you, I'm sure, felt guided to be at a certain time, at a certain place, so that somebody could catch your eye and say, hey, you want to hear a lecture? Hey, you want to come to our church? Somehow you were there at the right time in the right place. And some people I know, I've heard from brothers and sisters, different testimonies, that maybe they were in the right time in the right place and they didn't get it, but then it was like God chased them and found them in another place, in another time, another situation. Bob, was that something that you've heard that story?
I was hit rock bottom.
Right time and right place, so somehow God was able to find you. Next one. Okay, so then this is from eschatology, which is the last days. Divine principle again. Oops, go back. Yeah, then this one. So when we're in this time period, same time as Jesus Christ, at the turning point, that time of culmination, divine principle explains that when a new dispensation begins, when the old dispensation is about to end. Okay, so, Christian believers, spiritually attuned people, they keep saying, wow. I mean, even secular people, you hear it on the radio all the time. This is crazy. What is going on? This doesn't make any sense. People are flabbergasted by the events taking place in the world today. It doesn't make any sense. There's no logic behind the choices that some people are making. It's because we're coming to the end of an old age, a new age beginning. Those who live in the period suffer internally from anxiety, fear, and confusion due to the absence of a guiding ideology or philosophy. They suffer externally from strife and battles fought with fearsome weapons. And isn't that what we have today? 100%. There are so many people who are so lost and so confused, and they've got it, the drugs and the alcohol and the sexual immorality is all trying to find solutions because there is no guiding philosophy or ideology that they have been able to find. However, in the midst of such wretchedness, and I believe that I probably could get a full support here that we're living in a time of wretchedness.
Amen.
God, without fail, I put it in caps and I bolded it, because without fail,
God will establish the center of the emerging good sovereignty in order to usher in a new age. We have to, believe that, accept that, and be so grateful that God is not going to fail us. He will not fail us. We will find the path. It will unfold. There will be a meritorious age that we can all experience, that Jesus was praying about 2,000 years ago, that True Father and Mother proclaimed in 2006. So we should not be strongly attached to conventional concepts, but rather should direct ourselves to be receptive to the Spirit in order that we may find the new truth which can guide us to the providence of the new age. And I believe, and I try to stay spiritually attuned, because, like I say, after joining 50 years ago, things have changed within our movement as well. The age of what we call the wilderness. We were all in the wilderness course, having to, the fundraising vans and the witnessing campaigns and the rallies and all the things. Now it's very, very different. And we are left so much up to our own relationship with God, our own personal relationship with Heavenly Parents and our true parents. And we have to be flexible. We have to be open to the Spirit. How is the Spirit going to unfold in my life? How is the Spirit going to unfold in my family? How is the Spirit going to unfold in my nation? People are all upset, and it's like the big thing on the news, the hundreds of thousands of immigrants coming from over our border. And I do believe that it's not being managed well, not a political statement. But somehow, I feel God is working behind this. For whatever reason, somehow God has a plan through this mayhem. And it will be, perhaps these people, of course, it's a mixed society, but some of them might really be looking for goodness, for truth, for understanding, for a better life, with a sincere heart. And those people, some of them may be really called by God to be here. So I don't want to close my mind to that. Next slide. Okay, so this is a little bit of, not from the Divine History book itself, my own assumption, I guess, or conclusions. We know that the foundation of the returning Christ came after the horrendous World War I. People in the middle of World War I, grandparents perhaps, they had no idea that that incredibly miserable story of war and conflict was the condition for True Father to be born. It's really incredible, to really stop and reflect on that. That World War II, the world was in such an upheaval state, was the condition for a true father to begin his public ministry at 26 years old. Nobody knew that. There he was in North Korea, this little tiny corner of the world, so insignificant to the rest of the world. The whole World War, that was the condition for Father to begin his public ministry. We talk about the Third World War today, even in the news. They're talking about nuclear warfare is definitely a possibility. I consider this to be the condition because World War I and II were meant to divide, can enable democracy and communism. World War III is for the purpose of bringing unity. That the role of our true mother is that condition. The condition is for true mother to stand in the position that she's taken today to work towards world-level unification of North and South Korea and world peace among this world. This is the condition. Next one, I'm sorry. So, this is a quote from True Mother's Anthology, which blew me away. I didn't know this. True Parents' engagement ceremony was held on March 27, 1960, or the first day of the third lunar month at 4 a.m. at headquarters in Champadan. The engagement ceremony was the ceremony by which the Heavenly Mother came to dwell on earth. Did you know that? That that Heavenly Mother came to dwell on the earth at the time of the engagement ceremony of our two parents. I didn't know that. Came to dwell on earth. In other words, the Mother of Heaven came to settle down on earth through it. Through this engagement ceremony, the Holy Spirit that had been in the spirit world for billions of years of history could finally become completely one with true Mother on the earth. Mother could then join together with true Father, and they became husband and wife. The Holy Spirit is substantiated through our true Mother at this time. And I am just in awe at what has transpired within, what was it, a week ago? A week and a half ago, 2 weeks? Of the opening of the, can never get it right, Chunshim Gun? Chunshim Gun? In Korea? Pardon? Chunwon-gun, there you go. It's just incredible. You know, it moves me to tears to see True Mother standing there all alone and, you know, with such a determination to establish this, not just as an independent woman, by no means, as the true parent, as the true mother of all humankind, to usher in this age. I feel it, perhaps some of us here, that this is a very different era that we're living in today because of that. And as we learn from divine principle, are we open to the Spirit? Are we flexible in our heart to be able to receive what heaven wants to give us? Mother has opened the Chun Wan. Oh, good. And we call our prayer, we call Chun Shim Wan, right? Okay, thank you. And it's a gift from our true Mother. Last slide. So True Mother's prayer at the opening when she came to, or not her prayer, her words, when she opened the Chun Shim Wan in Las Vegas, which was just a little over a year ago, she said, education is necessary in order to save America. She came to save America. Okay? And raise up second and third generations. We need the work of the spirits. So I will first designate Chanwagung as the Chanbo Training Center branch, and then East Garden as the next branch. Because America is big. We need to start in the west and start the fire and go to the east. So we need to make the first, second, and third generations stand here in endless lines to come and receive grace and even participate in the blessing. I have decided to hand over Chanwagung, hand it over to Chanwagung, in reaping the fruits of the completed Testament age. This place must become the place to reap those fruits. The church and youth and students for peace, YSP, must go out as one, centering on Chunshimwan, the internal training center. As brothers and sisters, we must go out as one. Therefore, I bolded and capped this myself, therefore a spiritual phenomenon will occur, and America will be revived and rebuilt. You should not just manage the Chunwagung, like external management. You must reap the harvest. There must be a revival. Like the Chunshimwan in Korea, you should also hang pictures of Hyojinim, Honjinim, Davidim. This must be a sacred place, and she continues. So this is a proclamation, a declaration that is hard to wrap my head around anyway. And as the first sentence in the Divine Principle says, I do struggle every day to find happiness, but this age that we're living is new. It's different. We must be new wine in new wineskins and be open to the Spirit as to how God is working at this time. So I'm just grateful that to be here, grateful to share this little message with you guys, and I guess I'll pray.
precious heavenly parents and our beloved true parents of heaven, earth, and humankind. It's really, more than anything, a humbling experience to be able to be alive at this time in human history. I possibly can think that the only regret is that time is flying by so fast, and that we are aging and becoming more and more mature, hopefully in our hearts, before our physical bodies become too mature and have to go to the next world. We really want to embrace, we really want to be the substantial embodiment of our true parents' words and of their heart at this time, as much as we possibly can, and work out our relationships of love within our own families, within our own communities, within our nation and world, because we cannot do it alone. This is truly what Mother is telling us. The spiritual phenomena must help and support us, but if we're allowing ourselves to be accessible, then God will use us. So we're so grateful for that opportunity, and I'm so grateful for brothers and sisters here. I report this prayer in my name and those of our North and West Central family. Achieu.
Achieu.